I just finished the Epic of Gilgamesh and thought I would share some observations and thoughts. Warning, spoilers ahead. Remember Mesopotamia, that place called the Cradle of Civilization? That's where this epic is from. It's the story of, you guessed it, Gilgamesh, basically a god and the mythological king of Uruk, which was probably the largest city back then. He teams up with his buddy Enkidu and they go on quests and eventually try to get the secret of immortality from the gods. Gilgamesh is kind of an asshole. His subjects are tired of him sleeping with their daughters, so the gods give them this wild man who's supposed to match him, Enkidu. But Enkidu and Gilgamesh end up becoming besties. They go to the cedar forest together to get special lumber and kill the resident forest god baddie, Humbaba. Gilgamesh returns a hero. This hottie wants to marry him, but he takes a look at her track record and sees that all her past lovers are messed up, and he passes. So she turns into the classic scorned woman and sends this god bull to kill Gilgamesh. But our boy slays the god bull, but that pisses off the big gods who are like, fuck Gilgamesh. So they kill Enkidu, which sends Gilgamesh into a raging tailspin where he tries to get the secret of immortality. He eventually gets this special flower that's supposed to provide immortality, but a snake eats it and dives into the ocean. Pretty depressing. I really want to emphasize how old it is. Think about how long ago Julius Caesar lived, about 2,000 years ago. That's how old the Epic of Gilgamesh was to him. It predates even the Old Testament and is actually the origin of the Noah's Ark flood story in Genesis. Gilgamesh's flood myth comes from an even earlier poem called Atrahasis, of which I wrote this summary here. Cool. Seems reasonable. When you read Gilgamesh, some things stand out, things that are common in ancient literature. The ancients didn't exactly believe in the old adage, show, don't tell. There's an awful lot of telling going on. There's also a ton of repetition in Gilgamesh. A ton of repetition. Also, did you know that there's a lot of repetition in the Epic of Gilgamesh? Apparently this is because it started off as an oral tradition, so this helped as a memory aid. It's kind of charming in its own way.
I'm gonna go get the papers,
We've all been there. I always think of this quote when Audrey's on night call and her pager goes off. As a life extension advocate, I really love this quote. Indeed, how can any of us rest without some sort of rationalization or religious coping? It's quite short, about 120 pages. The introduction to the book actually took me longer to read than the actual text. I get the same feeling watching really old movies as I do reading really old books. It feels like a weird connection to the past. It seems so far away and so close at the same time. Overall, I wouldn't recommend it for most people. Most people nowadays don't read anyways, and they'd probably be better off reading something else. But that being said, I did think that these things were worth sharing, and I hope you did too. Thanks for watching.